Okay, Super Sam in the building. What are the papers saying about VAR this morning?
Oh my, yeah, that decision there. We heard the commentary. Incredibly, didn't go to VAR. It wasn't checked by the referee.
They didn't even check it.
No, the newspapers today are going in on the referees. Let's read Mark Clattenburg in the Mail verdict. Pull out. Everton right to feel robbed. Clattenburg said this was the clearest handball I've ever seen that wasn't given. I can understand why referee Paul Tierney didn't give it in real time. Maybe didn't have the best angle because he was looking at it from behind. But TV replay showed a clear handball by Rodri. The ball dropped down and the Man City midfielder misjudged the spin of it and he controlled it with his arm. It touched his flesh, not his shirt sleeve. We saw that, and so did VAR Chris Kavanagh. Yet for some strange reason, Tierney wasn't sent to his monitor to make up for missing this handball in real time. Had he been given a second chance to look at it, he would have awarded this penalty to Everton. It was a shocker. Ali, you've been in the game a lot longer than myself. Having looked at the incident, can you think of any reason as to why Mr. VAR didn't get the referee to go and have a look at that? Because for me, it was the clearest handball I've ever seen.
No, you're right. I mean, I just can't understand it because I'm looking at it, I was watching it, and as soon as it happened, you know that way you go, my eye. You think to yourself, I'll be honest with you, as soon as I saw it, my initial reaction was it's hit his arm, but then I thought, with the referee's reaction, I must have got it wrong. It must have been a camera angle. But then when they showed you it a couple of times, well, they showed you it once again, you knew right away. And the very least, you should have done was going over to a look at the monitor. But it's staggering. Just it's decisions like that are baffling
big
fans.
Decisions, both ends of the table as well.
Oh, baffling as all. Everton are fighting for their lives, man. You know? And of course, from a Liverpool point of view, they'll be disappointed that it's not a penalty as anybody. So effectively, it's the one penalty decision that the whole of Merseyside will be crying about this morning.
And when I said VAR didn't check it, I mean VAR didn't send the referee to go over and check. Of course, they check everything, don't they? Laura, but it's this is why we talk a lot about VAR, but it's the people operating VAR, isn't it? VAR is there. If the referee, because there was bodies, didn't have a great view, fine. Use VAR, send him over. I thought it was crazy that he didn't go and have another look.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's there to give yourself a hand. Sorry, obviously, pardon the pun there. But it's to give referees a hand. But listen, for me, it's the person, like you say, it's the person in Stockley Park that's having a little look at it. It almost feels like we're getting ourselves a little bit muddled, and I don't understand why things like this keep kind of slipping through the net, because you're right, it could have a massive implication on Everton's season. And Frank Lampard, even after the game, was like, look, I've got a 3-year-old daughter, and even she would have been able to see that was handball. And he was like, I'm not trying to make light of the situation.
That, I mean, it was that blatant. Yeah,
he understands the situation that they are in at the moment and how precarious it is down the bottom of the table. So yeah, it could massively change. I totally understand why this morning Everton fans are waking up and screaming at their radio. I can see all the messages coming through this morning, because it's just a little bit of consistency. And also, what it doesn't do any favours for is the argument that there are, in some ways, big club biases. It almost feeds into that argument, because you think, well, what are we seeing here? I'm not suggesting that there is, but it's difficult to defend it, isn't it, really, when it gets to the point when you've got things like this that are happening. So yeah, really disappointing, actually, and doesn't do football any favours either, Ali.
No, I mean, it was bordering on embarrassing, wasn't it, really? Looking at it, and you can understand Frank's frustration, absolutely, but you make a very, very good point. It affects both ends of the table. You know, that result, that decision doesn't just affect Everton, who clearly that's who it's the greatest effect on, but at the top of the table. I mean, imagine Liverpool getting into that game yesterday thinking, wow, no one ever got a chance to win a domestic cup final. You know, our biggest, rivals for the title have dropped 2 points.
4 points with the game in hand now, wouldn't it? It's close to the top, guys. It's also still incredibly close to that race for top four. Another big weekend. The Mail verdict, Europa League beckons for wasteful United. Huge rebuilding job to be done at Old Trafford after Ralph Roos' forwards failings. On the same page, the headline, Hammers take huge stride in top four race. A massive win for them yesterday against Wolves. In the Mirror, a headline that had to be Sue. Birthday boy Thomas gets vital winner as Hammers stake a claim for the top four. We're getting nearer and nearer, aren't we, to the end of the season? I don't think many people still have the faintness of ideas as to who's going to come forth this season, guys.
No.
Arsenal are the ones in excuse me, guys, beg your pardon. Arsenal's look to me to be the one in the hot seat at the moment.
They look the
driving
best,
seat.
don't they, of the chasing pack?
Well, they're sitting there on 45, same as West Ham. 3 games in hand, by the way. Not 1 or 2. They've got 3 games in hand, and 2 points behind Manchester United.
Only problem
Are you
is,
comfortable with that?
well, listen, I remember, Sam, you asked me towards the beginning of the season and you said, do you think we'll finish top 4? I think those 3 games in hand are tough games in hand. So I know that when you look at the table, I'm sure one of them's Liverpool, one of them might be City. Oh, that's it, Spurs, isn't it? And Chelsea as well. So Chelsea, Spurs and Liverpool, the games in hand, which I know some days we can get the better of those teams, but usually they're in cup competitions.
Yeah.
So I don't know, in the league, I just think I'm trying to stay level-headed and not see in black and white that we've got those 3 games in hand.
Well, I'll ask you a question. Out of all the teams going for that 4th spot,
Yeah.
whose position would you rather be in?
Yeah, good question.
I think it's Arsenal's. Right now, I think it's Arsenal's. And normally you would say, you know, you want the points rather than the games in hand. However, if you've got 3 games in hand and you're only 2 points behind and level with 2 points behind United and obviously level with West Ham,
Yeah.
I'm saying Arsenal.
And they're playing the best football, I think,
Yeah.
as well, Arsenal.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's just whether or not they're playing good enough football to beat those teams that I just mentioned. Listen, I would love it to happen, obviously. So quite happy to be wrong at the end of the season. If we finish top 4, it would be
Is that an
incredible.
impersonation of Kevin Keegan there? Would you really love it?
I would love it.
Yeah. Really
I
love
would
it?
love it.
I'll
guys.
tell you something.
We will hear from Chelsea manager Thomas Tuchel next. By the way, Newcastle, what a massive, massive win at the weekend.
Is it too early for me to pat myself in the back?
No.
No, it's not. But allow me to answer that question.
With one hand.
I said Newcastle would go to 14th place on Friday.
Did you?
Yeah, because I didn't fancy Leeds to win, I didn't fancy Everton to win, and I fancied Newcastle to beat Brentford.
Wow. Well, they did 2-0.
I'll give you that back.
Big old win. Whether or not you think Brentford are opponents that they should be winning against or not, it just means now they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games, in fact 7 games in the Premier League unbeaten, which, considering at the beginning of the season they couldn't buy a win, that is a big turnaround for Eddie Howe and his team. So congratulations to all of the Newcastle fans this morning. I'm sure you've woken up in a good mood as well.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.